Alright, what's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's time to start cooking with your boy Keenan. Keenan just felt like cooking. And I'm about to whip up with something nice, little oldie but goodie, all-time favorite. Some people don't like it, some people love it. I'm one of those people that love it. Check this out. That's what I got going. We got some gizzards here. Yeah, and we're going to throw these bad boys in the pressure cooker. Break them down, because, you know, gizzards is kind of tight. In the water, we're going to throw a little bit of aromatics. We got a celery stalk here. We got a couple of two fresh bay leaves, a couple sprigs of thyme, a bunch of cloves of garlic right there. That look like one. That's like 5. There's a little one in there, so like 4.5. And then I'm going to use half of that yellow onion right there. And before I get it all in a pressure cooker, I'm going to soak these gizzards right here and some water and vinegar for about an hour. That's also going to help tenderize them and clean all the schmeckis off. Alright, we're going to be back when we throwing them in the pressure cooker. Back in a minute. We got them gizzards. They were soaked up and some, I use apple cider vinegar this time. And a little water, soaked down for about an hour. And then I got them right here in the pressure cooker with the veggie mix that I showed you, and also I added a half of a habanero. This habanero was huge, so I cut it in half. And to that, I'm gonna add a half a cup of my apple rub right there. Be sure to check that video out. And then we're just gonna add some water in here until my wife tells me when to stop. So she's hitting me, so that must be stop. So you want to make sure you submerge everything down in there. As you can see, get it all nice and moist, and you should be good, just like that. Alright, let's get this bad boy to pressure. It's actually been 30 minutes. I added an extra 5 minutes at the beginning time, and these bad boys done broke down good. This little habanero right here brought just the right amount of heat in there, and these suckers are tender. I don't even want to squeeze it too hard because they're going to come apart. So I'm going to place these on a wire rack, let them cool completely before we fry them. And we're not going to waste this juice because I'm going to use some of it to make some rice, and I should have enough left over to make a little gravy. So I'm going to get these on the cookie sheet, lined with paper towel and some foil on top of a wire rack, letting them cool completely before we batter them. And like I said, this ain't going to waste. So gizzards are cool, completely cool, and we're gonna do a quick fry method. So to that, I'm gonna add in 2 eggs. And I'm gonna get that mixed up in there. Get them nice and coated with the egg mixture. And then I got 2.5 cups of flour here. And then to that, I'm adding the seasoning mix. This is basically everything I use for my apple rub, except the part that makes it the apple rub. And instead of black pepper, I use white pepper. Same measurements. So we're going to add that in there to season up our breading. Just mix that up. Okay, so while that oil's heating up, let's get this gravy situated. I got 3 tablespoons of butter here. Just got it melting down. And to that, this is 3 tablespoons of flour, pre-measured. Put that in there like that. You just want to whisk that up to cover all the flour and the fat. And you want to cook that until you get rid of that flour taste. You'll be able to smell it because it starts smelling nutty and you know, real good. It won't smell like flour. So we're gonna keep that going. And as you see, you got your little root thing going on here. And I got this on a medium-high heat. So this cooked down for a good minute or so. Got it on a medium-high heat. I'm starting to smell the butter, so that let me know that the flour is cooked out of it. And then this is like, I think it was like 1 3/4 cups of liquid that was left over from the gizzards. And this is what I had left over from when I made the rice. So we're gonna add this to it and whisk as we add. And it's warm. You never want to add cold liquid to your gravy because it would definitely be hard to get those lumps out. So we're gonna let this cook up while we stirring it and breaking it down. And you won't know how thick it is until it comes to a boil. So this oil is hot while my gravy thickens. Went ahead, we're gonna dunk that in there. And this is how I got them lined up on the tray, as you can see. So we're gonna load a few up. We're gonna load a few in here. And we're gonna drop them down in some good grease and have some fried gizzards with some gravy, with some rice. Now, as you can see, this thickened up quite nicely. And usually, like when I make a gravy, I'm using milk, or some people use water or cornstarch, and you have to re-season. Being that I use the liquid from the pressure cooker that I cook the gizzards in, I don't have to re-season nothing. So we're just gonna go ahead and kill the heat on that. Cover it. I'm gonna remove it from the heat so it don't get that skin or burn. So be sure you keep it moving so they don't stick together. And that's what we're looking at right there, boy. Yeah. Remember, they're already done from the pressure cooker, so we just crisping it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these off, load up another batch, and we're gonna be back with a plate. There we go. Straight up fried gizzard. I mean, my breading could have been a little thicker. I'll be the first to admit that. I did want to coat them with flour first before I added that egg. But when you got kids, you get sidetracked. And but these bad boys are not lacking flavor. They are not lacking tenderness, I'll tell you that. And then the gravy made from the juice that I cooked, the water that I cooked the gizzards in the pressure cooker, with all those aromatics, the celery, the thyme, the fresh bay leaf, garlic, and onion, and that habanero, added that little bit of spice on the back end to that water. And it made an amazing broth. And I used the broth to make this rice and also this gravy. All right. Now I'm dying to try this. I tried a little bit, sample while I was cooking. And this gravy. Woo, but I didn't try it with the rice, so I'm interested on this. That could be a meal in itself. Good old rice and gravy. And I'm telling you, the habanero that I put in there, fried, just to let you know it's there. Start with these gizzards. You taste the thyme coming through. Soaking them in the vinegar, and the water helps out. I use apple cider vinegar just to see how it turned out, and you definitely get that little, it's something else there. It's a nice little sweetness on the back end that's incorporated inside the actual gizzard. Here's a bigger one. So it'll let you know I ain't playing how tender these bad boys are, and grab a little one and be like, man, whatever. That little piece could be tender anyway. Here's a big one. I should prove that these gizzards are tender as I don't know what. They're on point. If you don't have a pressure cooker, some people don't. You can get the same effect if you braise them. You keep doing them on the stove for a couple hours. Just make sure you keep an eye on your water. Start evaporating, dropping down. Fill that back up, and if you're seasoning, add some more seasoning. All right. Go ahead and wrap this up. This time change has got me on one right now. And I'm pretty sure people know what I'm talking about. But hey, y'all be cool. Appreciate it.